this apartment complex has crazy amenities. It has this brand new resident center that has a pool. It has a pet spa. It has a grill and picnic area. It has meeting space, co-work space. It has a golf simulator. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Welcome to Location Community, the podcast where real estate isn't just about finding the right house. It's about discovering the perfect place to call home. I'm Mike Rohr with Jeremy Doering of Doering&Co Real Estate in Elm Grove. On this show, we explore the dynamic relationship between where you live and how you live, diving into the importance of not just the location, but the community that comes with it. So thank you again for joining us on the next episode of Location Community. I'm Mike Rohr here with
Jeremy Doering.
And thanks again for joining us today. Like we always say, if you can share this podcast with your friends, please subscribe and follow us. And again, leave any comments, leave suggestions. We're always open to different topics, things that our audience wants to listen to, and we want to give you again, what's gonna tune you in. So with that, today we're gonna talk. Actually, I'm gonna take a step back. Let's talk about the holidays.
Ooh,
right here.
One of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're in the thick of it.
It's a great time to be merry. It's a great time to share.
I thought you were gonna say married.
Oh no,
to be married.
To be merry.
It is.
Yes. But it's a great time to give, to share, obviously support and donate to the people, organizations that you do. Two organizations that we support and donate back to is United Way of Racine, and also Children's Hospital. And we've been doing that for, probably 7 to 10 years, where we volunteer.
Yep.
We give money at the end of the year.
Yep.
So get out there and, give, share.
100%.
Be merry.
Yes.
Do you have anything in store for your holidays?
Well, I just, look forward to, everything you said, spot on. And just look forward to spending time with friends and family as well.
Yeah.
It's, grew up in Wisconsin and, family's a big thing, getting together, tree hopping, seeing cousins and people that I don't normally see,
right.
Except for maybe once a year. And then I would say it's time of year for brandy sour old fashions.
Ooh,
that's don't drink them a lot. The brandy old fashions a lot during the year, but come holidays, it's a pretty much given tradition.
Yeah, you're part of that Corbel statistic where
Yes.
we drink the most Corbel.
Yes.
In the state of or in the world.
Any state, exactly. How about you? What's anything from a family perspective?
It's just always nice to see my brother come in from New York. No, just multiple families, multiple people that get together. So
parties,
yeah, just fun times.
Yeah,
it can be very stressful for a lot of people. So, just obviously with money and holidays and how busy it is. So
yes.
Take your time, right?
And enjoy as much as you can.
Yeah, enjoy as much as you can, and just be thankful.
Yep.
For sure.
Because it goes quick, right? It's 5 weeks or so, and it's here and gone. So
yeah, and what's great about it is like Elm Grove, the place that we reside is, they got the wagon, they got a bunch of different events, I believe.
Yep.
Downtown.
Yep.
They have Santa's coming to town from the Elm Grove, the Women's Club of Elm Grove. Yep. So that should be really nice.
Yeah. a great time of year. And actually we'll have a guest later, and talking about some other things going on around Brookfield. So
nice.
She'll be able to touch on that as well. But obviously, like I said, it's the holidays come and go so quick. And before I know it, it's going to be 2025.
Right.
And, I think just in our conversations, I think it's an important conversation to have what people can expect, in 2025 going forward with regards to real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the past podcasts, we had a chance to talk about multiple things like interest rates, what people can, somewhat expect, a few months ago. But I think a lot of things now that the election is over, right? And when you look at inflation, the supply, appreciation of homes, I think a lot of that comes into play now as far as what, people, buyers or sellers can expect, in 2025. So, I think overall, the one question is, the supply of homes. I think, since, the last few years, builders were kind of behind over the last 15 years almost. But more builders are building, and that's really helping, with the supply of what we're going to expect, next year. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so supply is going to be a huge factor going into 2025.
Yep.
So I believe the supply will get better based on the builders catching up on their volume, builders offering more turnkey homes, which we're starting to see.
Yeah. And turnkey, explain that.
Turnkey meaning that someone doesn't have to take out a construction loan to buy the property and make draws and pay for the construction of the property. The builder has done that and is willing to do that. So they're offering more turnkey homes, meaning you can, put the key in the door and walk in and get a regular loan for that property.
So when they're
to where, back in 2008 and on for, almost a decade, builders were not doing turnkey homes.
Yeah.
They were building them according to the specs of their clients, and the clients would have to take out a construction loan and burden that, financial, that financial obligation through the construction loan.
Yep.
Right now, what we're starting to see, which is great, is more of the turnkey approach where builders are building more, I don't know if I would say affordable, but homes that are in between 400 and say 500 or 450 to 550.
Yep.
In some of these subdivisions that are attractive to go to, such as Sussex, Menominee Falls, Lannon, Richfield. Those areas out there are growing.
Yeah.
And this is all in Wisconsin, and I'm starting to see it, nationwide, where builders are starting to kind of catch up on their supply and offer more inventory, which is going to help our supply in 2025.
For sure. So, it goes back to when people are looking to start, get back in, whether they're already in the market or looking to get into the market. When they look at homes, new homes can be part of that, right? Because it's, like you said, turnkey. So it's something that they can go and look at, and, that can be one of their options.
Absolutely.
From the get-go.
Yeah, I think a lot more younger buyers, millennials, Gen Zs, are looking at new construction.
Yeah.
Not going into a home that is built in the 60s, 70s, even 1920s that need a lot of work, updates to multiple items such as, galvanized piping and all that fun stuff. That is an option for that generation to, go into their next home. And most of them probably already own a home.
Yeah.
So that's going to create that inventory as well, because they're going to sell their house that they bought.
Correct.
For $200,000 to $300,000.
Yep. They're
going to have an appreciation.
Yep.
Equity position into there, and then they're going to be able to sell their house and buy a new house.
Correct. Spot on. I was actually going to mention that. Obviously, if new home buyers, right? That's supply is a good thing for them. But if interest rates come back down, like we had Josh, Bucio on a prior episode, just talking about interest rates, right, coming down. I know they maybe ticked up a little bit, but a lot of the forecasters think that that the average, looking at back down towards 6 to maybe even some high 5s, maybe mid 5s. Obviously we don't have the crystal ball. I wish we did.
Yeah.
To know exactly what's going to happen.
We'd be doing a lot more podcasts if we did,
right? And but
magic man.
Yeah, exactly. So. You don't have the crystal ball, but the forecasters in general believe, in the 5s. And so that's going to bring, and I don't know what the stat is, like 70% of people, whether new home buyers or looking to sell, that they were basically out of the market. Right?
Yeah,
like
that'll help.
They're interested, and that's a big number, right? 70%. But now interest rates come back down, the supply is going up. that more people coming back in. And if their current home, homeowners, and then they sell, so that they're buying something, but that supply and that variety of homes that are going to be out there can overall increase.
Yeah. I mean, I hope and expect that to happen in 2025.
Yeah.
There will be more supply.
Yep.
There will be more volume of buyers out there.
Yep.
Especially if rates do come back down at least a percentage point to where we're in the mid fives.
Yeah.
I think that's a healthy environment.
Yes.
Anything lower than that's not, I feel, is not going to be healthy.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what the equity does, the appreciation. We talked about what's the average appreciation in a home each and every year, right? You have the statistics. I call you the statistic man.
Most forecasters, it goes anywhere from, I think, 4.4 down to like 0.3%, but the average they say is about 2.5 is what they're going to expect. And that's back to normal. It was always been about 2.5 to 3%. We saw very, very high over the past, few years with it, with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Interest rates were really, really low, and so that really drove prices way up, like into double digit. And that wasn't sustainable. That's not what we're going to see going forward. It kind of goes back down to that, 2.5, 3%.
Right.
And that goes back to the supply. It goes back to the interest rates. Those things is kind of making it back to a normal market, more neutral market, where prices are going to be more sustainable, and, back to normal. And, it's, you have a lot of sellers, and buyers are just going to kind of be able to offset that.
Yeah. And statistically, there's a lot of equity position right
100%.
now across the country.
Yep.
And we've seen that. I mean, the chart, we're at the ultimate high equity in the world. I mean, our economy is driven by a huge amount of money that's in equity.
Yep.
And I feel, in a chart like that, you look at it and you're like, well, how much more can this go up?
Yeah.
Right. So I think, as we talked about, and this is why we're here, right, is to really inform people what to look for, how to navigate this real estate market, and how to make it a valuable asset.
Yes.
Right? Because it always has been proven year after year, decade after decade, for the most part, that if you do the right things and you find the right people to help you do the right things, you're going to get equity out of it. And
Correct.
that in the next 5 to 10 years is not going to look like what it has been the previous decades, right?
Yep.
A person buying a house in the last 3 years is not going to look at the same appreciation that we've had, 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So how is that going to take into account, what people are able to take money out of their house to fix it up, or, do multiple things to help them.
Correct. And I think, in the numbers, it's like $13 trillion there's in
equity?
In mortgage debt.
Oh, in mortgage debt. Okay.
Mortgage debt. And that's a huge number. But then if you look at the equity in that real estate, and in that $13 trillion is like 35, 36 trillion. So it's like only a third of what the liabilities are.
Right.
With it. So 13 trillion, and that the equity is 48, and the overall value, if the 35, excuse me, and the overall value is like 48, trillion.
Right.
And that has grown, to your point, over the last 5 to 10 years. It's really, the trajectory was super high, and that's not going to be the case going forward. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just about 2.5, 3% appreciation, not the double digit.
Yeah.
That we've seen.
Which I think a lot of that is hypothetical. And we've
100%.
talked about this based on area specific.
Yep.
What you've bought that house for a couple of years ago.
Yep.
What you've done to the house.
Yep.
There's so many variables, and then to have this expectation of that equity position to continue to go past a benchmark that is already at its highest.
Yep.
I don't see that happening. I see that there will be areas that will start, plateauing, maybe losing 5 to 10%, depending on the multiple factors of, the real estate, location, floor plan, amenities, upgrades that you've done.
Yeah.
Are they timeless? All those factors get taken into account. And really what's going to be interesting if someone who we've represented in the last 3 years, right? We'd like to say we've really helped them and we've, did everything we do to help provide the best service.
Yep.
And we helped them buy a house 3 years ago, but let's just say they need to sell a house. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason. They're either upgrading or they got a job change or, something that came up and they now are trying to sell their house. Are they gonna have any appreciation in that home?
A lot of factors go into it, like you just said, and there's a chance that maybe not.
Right.
And that's even a conversation that we've had with our clients and that, like, are you going to be in this house for 5 to 10 years? If so, as things kind of fluctuate and level out, you're going to be okay.
Right.
But things happen, right, where they have to sell because of job or whatever the case is, maybe moving out of the state, whatever. That could be the case. I mean, It's not going to be going back to 2008, when the housing crisis. I mean, there was a lot of strategic default where basically the house was worth less, right, than what the mortgage was.
Sure. A lot of people were able to do 100% financing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's different now, right? Because there was, basically there was more debt than what the properties were valued at.
Correct.
Not the case now, but there could be those one-offs, those exceptions to exactly what you just said.
I think that is a very relevant and prevalent or a relevant topic going into 2025 and thereon.
Yep.
Is some of those people in some of those areas, depending on, again, multiple factors of the characteristic of that home and location.
Yep.
If they have to sell, they could be upside down.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
It really depends on multiple factors. And I think the demand is still going to be very high because the supply is going to be low.
Yep.
I feel like in 2025 we'll catch up on supply.
Yep.
There will be more.
Interest rates kind of leveling off.
Yep. I forecast something we've talked about with the commissions.
Yep.
Right? The real estate commissions, that's all in play. And, we're living it.
Yep.
We're,
and not a lot of changes, right? I mean, it's how it's written into the contract or the offer.
Yep.
Might be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, necessarily maybe not as black and white, but it's still very similar. Like a lot of things haven't changed.
Right.
It's just how it's written into the offer, versus before it was kind of expected.
Yeah, it was not, this is more transparent where it's written into the offer. There are sellers out there that, will say up front that they're not offering concessions. So they're not necessarily saying that we're willing to offer up something up front, but go ahead and write in the offer and we'll review it. We'll look at it to see if it makes sense to pay you.
Yeah.
Personally, our organization have been negotiating some of the percentages a little bit, but most sellers at this point, especially going into the holidays and kind of this time of the year to sell real estate, sellers have been providing, a good percentage, an average percentage.
Yep.
In some cases, there are agencies that are actually asking more and getting back to the 3% to what it was, decades ago.
Yep.
Madison is still 3%. Appleton is 3% or more.
Yeah.
We've been in the Milwaukee metropolitan area, we've been at 2.4%.
Yeah.
Right? Just cutting our ties on commission. So, again, it really goes back to the value you want to find in a real estate agent and is to interview people, right? Sit down with them and make sure that your goals, the questions that are asked you, that they align and you really have someone that can help you find the right home.
Correct. Give you everything that you want, be able to, even just from a personality perspective.
Yes.
Right? That you're like, okay, like we're on the same page. I can talk to this person. I can, be open and honest. And, that's why, I think, and we've shared this before, like 70% of people interview one agent. Biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. The market's changing. A lot of things have happened, in the past and what we can expect going forward.
Right.
Have those discussions. That's why we're here bringing this education so you can have more knowledge and you can go out and talk to 3-4 people so that you can make the best decision for you. Knowledge is, is really beneficial to you as the customer, as a client.
Yeah, it is.
So I think, as we kind of wrap this up, a lot of things changing, right, for the good, right? Interest rates kind of leveling out. And I think even like more homes will be sold next year. I think, a lot of people think that 2023, 2024, we're kind of down and we're kind of, going to go back up. The estimated number of homes sold for 2024 was 4.6 million. And I think they expect 5.2 in 2025 because more people coming back, interest rates leveling out, being able to have normalized expectations as far as what's going to happen.
I would agree. Yeah, I think we saw a lot of one-party listings this year as well. So if you are a buyer, get prepared. Start 4 months ahead, if not 6 months, and start looking at homes, start getting prepared with the right buyer's agent. If you're a seller and a buyer, sit down and prepare your house. Our next episode you don't want to miss, where we're going to talk about remodeling. We're going to talk about property flipping, all the things that our organization does to help people get their home ready for sale.
Yep.
Those are things that day in and day out we do.
Yep.
We do it well. We have a great crew of tradespeople, in-house general contractor, designers that help along the way. Our next episode will show some pictures and
before and after,
some before and after stuff. Just today I'm going to a house to meet, to resand the floors, to put vinyl plank into
You're right in there.
a living room, to put carpet in a great room to get it ready for sale for someone.
Yeah.
And that'll be live live on Friday in Mayfair Road in Wauwatosa. So just things that we do beyond most, I would say typical kind of real estate companies that are out there. There's a lot of value that we can provide to help get your home ready for sale. And that's key.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, interview people and, have expectations. And you set those expectations. And the only way to do that is by having multiple conversations.
Yeah.
So great conversation. And I guess like Jeremy said, come back, for our next episode and we'll have some good before and after, be able to share like what we've done and what you've done.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to be a guest, let us know.
Yeah.
If you have someone that is an influencer, someone that could be a great impactor in impacting people's lives out there and helping people and servicing people, we'd love to talk to them.
Please reach out.
Yeah.
And with that, perfect, segue into our guest. So we have a great guest from the town of Brookfield. Going to talk about some various developments, like the one going up across from the Corners in Brookfield. But we have Antoine from Discover Brookfield, the Director of Tourism. So with that, Anna, thanks for coming today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so Anna, we had a chance. We met at a chamber meeting, and things evolved, and here we are.
And here we are.
So thank you for agreeing to come on. I think you have some great information to share with our audience. But before we get started, just maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. I'm really big into the travel industry, which is kind of what brought me here. But kind of going back before that, my background is in business management.
Okay.
I have a degree from Concordia University in Mequon, and I had an internship with Easttown Association, which they do Bastille Days and Jazz in the Park and a weekly farmers market. And I fell in love with events and kind of hit the ground running from there. Yeah. And my mom actually was a flight attendant my entire life. Well, not my entire life, a big portion of my life.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I fell in love with travel. So my role as the tourism director really gets to push those two together. And that's what what I love to do.
Yeah, and I think you just got back from a trip.
I did, yes.
Yourself, personal trip, right?
I did, yes. My family is really big into Disney. We love Disney. I'm definitely a Disney adult and proud of it. But yeah, we just got back from a week in Disney, and
so I may be if I ever go back, I've been there like 4 times, I think. But you probably have all the ins and outs.
I do. Okay. I would be happy to talk Disney all day, any day.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
So before we get started as well, like what's any plans for the holidays? We're coming up here.
I know. I can't believe it's only a month away now. Less than a month. That's crazy.
It is.
But it's a lot of time spending with family. Yep. It's a tradition of ours. We go to my in-laws on Christmas Eve, and we spend the entire day by my family on Christmas Day.
Okay. So your family's local. That's good.
Yes.
Right?
My family lives in downtown Milwaukee. My husband's family lives in Port Washington.
Perfect.
Born and bred Milwaukeean.
Yeah. No, same. I'm not from the area, but from Manitowoc. I don't know if I've ever shared that actually with my audience, but yeah, born and raised in Wisconsin as well.
Yep.
So
it's hard to leave Wisconsin. It
is.
Really is.
I tell people all the time. I meet people and they're like, "Why are you still there?" And I'm like, "It's honestly, I love it. I gotta be honest."
Yeah. It's a great place to grow up. It's a great place to raise a family. And well, the winters are not necessarily what I would call fun.
Agree.
We have really, really great summers.
Yeah.
And fall.
I mean, the way I look at it is the holidays. You have November, December. I don't mind the cold or if it snows because it's the holidays.
Right.
I look at it, it's like January and February.
Right.
Are tough.
They are.
But anywhere in the country you go, there's 2-3 months that are tough.
Right. Whether it's July and August or January and February.
Correct. Exactly right. But you're right. Like fall, spring, summer, fantastic.
Yeah. So, I agree.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on with the town of Brookfield, and as the director of tourism, what's happening and what can you share with our audience?
Absolutely. I'm sure anybody that's been in the area has realized that there's something pretty big happening on the corner of Blue Mound and Barker. It's the new Poplar Creek Town Center.
Right from across from the corners.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. It's a huge development that's starting to come together. Really, it's opening in pieces, and we're seeing a really big surge of traffic, and we're really excited about the new property.
I mean, that thing is built up so fast.
It's crazy. I drive past it and I'm like, oh, there's a new building there.
Yes.
Just from yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I drove by once and I think it was all new almost. I mean, it happened quick.
It did happen very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's been built. I've had the opportunity to tour the entire property, and it's really been it's an incredible space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's going to be in there? Like what's the development? What does it entail?
Yeah, so it's a huge space. It's going to be similar to the corners right now, but it's going to be a little bit more residential focused.
Okay.
So there's I'm actually not sure how many buildings there are. I believe it's nine buildings maybe.
Okay.
But it's going to be apartment living, and then there's going to be 9 to 10 different retail/dining spaces available.
Okay.
And then the hub of the space is going to be the 2 new Marriott properties.
Okay.
The
Fantastic.
2 new hotels.
Yeah. So what do you know? I'm guessing it's been announced, like which ones are going to be there?
Yes, I can talk about the hotels.
Okay.
And I can tease that a Medi Spa is going to be joining us in the retail space. It's called Forever Young.
Okay.
But I don't know about any of the other space, and I probably won't know until maybe an hour before it's released to everybody else. So
okay. So a little tidbit for everybody tuning in as far as what's coming.
Right. So it's exciting, a little sneak. But the 2 new hotels, one is a Courtyard. So that's the one right on Blue Mound. So when you're driving down Blue Mound, that's the one that you'll see.
Okay.
And then just running north and south of the Courtyard, which is just east of it, is the Residence Inn. So Residence Inn is going to be extended stay hotels. So each one will have a kitchenette space.
Okay.
And there will be breakfast available.
Yep.
And then the courtyard is going to be a traditional hotel that you would stay in, you know, 1 or 2 nights, or I guess however long you want to. But
yeah. So 1-2 nights or week or whatever the case may be.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So then from a retail space, you said there's 9. So that's quite a bit smaller than what's across the corners?
Correct, yes. And the reason behind it is because there's a huge retail space right behind the hotels, but one tenant is taking up that entire space.
Okay.
We don't know who it is yet.
Okay.
They won't tell me.
You're going to keep us guessing?
Yep. They're going to keep all of us guessing.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll talk after. I'll see if I can get it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I
okay.
don't.
All right. I
don't
trust
know.
you. I trust you. Okay. So that's so one of the 8 is a big square footage.
Correct.
More
Yes.
to speak, so to speak. Okay.
And it's a 3-story level, and then the rest of the space is street level, and it can be anything from retail to dining.
Yep.
Personally, I'd love to see a new restaurant go in. I'm a big foodie, so I'd love to see new restaurants. But.
Yeah. I mean, I would think, right, that you'd want one across the street, right? Because it's not super easy to go back and forth.
Right. At least not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not yet.
Not yet.
Another little tidbit. More to come.
tidbit.
More to come.
Yeah. There's been talks on how we're going to make it easier to cross Blue Mountain. Because I don't know if you've ever tried, but it's kind of like Frogger. It's not easy. And it needs to be safer. So we're working on some ideas, but nothing's nothing's decided yet. So we'll see.
All right, more to come. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you kind of plan this, I don't know, how does the community aspect? I mean, is this something obviously that's needed from the community that's being asked for?
Yes. So the town of Brookfield, all of Brookfield really, is very business focused. There is a lot of business travel in the area. We're really close to Madison. We're minutes away from Milwaukee.
Yep.
So Brookfield is kind of a hub for business travelers to come to, so that it's easy to get to the other locations.
Yep.
So we definitely needed the 2 new hotels. That's a no-brainer.
Okay.
And then we've seen a big surge in people moving to the area. People love Brookfield. It's a great community.
Yep.
And people are really liking the apartment living. You know, there's no upkeep, there's no shoveling, none of that. So
especially from the
really
standpoint of just and we've talked on this podcast.
Yeah.
Affordability is an issue as well. So if people don't feel comfortable going there, having some great apartments with a lot of amenities is a huge plus.
Well, and this apartment complex has crazy amenities. It has this brand new residence center that has a pool. It has a pet spa. It has a grill and picnic area. It has meeting space, co-work space. It has a golf simulator. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
So pets allowed?
Yes,
obviously.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
In every building, or is it going to be okay?
Yeah. The town of Brookfield, we kind of pride ourselves on being very pet friendly.
Okay.
So that is a big part of this new community is pets are allowed. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you talked about the apartments. Is it going to be more residential than I think the corners?
Correct.
All right. There's apartments at the corners, but it's going to be greater across the street.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's, I believe they told me, and I don't remember how many new apartments are actually going into the space, but it's everything from studios to all the way up to 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
And they're
Are they renting yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I believe the first tenant is scheduled to go in. I think they've already moved in on the 19th of November. Yes.
Okay.
Where the hotels accepted their first guest on the 13th of November. So they're moving forward pretty quickly.
So even with the construction going on, hotels are up and going.
Yes.
And ready for the holidays, for people, family coming in.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be.
Exactly. It's a great spot for families to come, especially for the holiday season. You have the Corners right across the street. There's a pool for the kiddos. So there's, I know that's a big deal. At least it was in my family growing up. You had to have a
Even
pool.
if you don't use it, just so you can tell the kids that there's a pool.
Exactly. There's a pool there.
Correct.
So it's,
awesome.
They're beautiful locations too.
Yeah. So now what's, obviously that's coming and thank you for sharing that. Anything that's happening that you can share like at the Corners or in the town from a holiday perspective?
Yes. Actually, we have quite a few things happening for the holiday season. The holiday town tree lighting is November 30th.
Okay.
That happens at the Corners, and it's from 3 until 5 p.m.
Okay.
That's, we have Santa coming. We have the countdown to the tree lighting, carolers.
Okay.
It's a really fun community event, and it's a great way to, kick off the start of the holiday season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else that's...
Yeah. So we have the reindeer, Santa's reindeer are also coming to the Corners on December 22nd this year.
Right before the Christmas.
Right. From noon until 3 p.m. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Indulgence Chocolatiers. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm not.
They're up at the Corners. They know how to throw an event.
Okay.
They're pretty great. They have a variety of different classes that you can take. So they have a holiday cocktails and chocolate class.
Sounds amazing.
I know. And then they have a sparkling wine, cheese, and chocolate class that you can take.
Okay.
Yes. And they run them, throughout the holidays a little bit after into January as well. And it's like a pairing class. So you take the wine and cheese and the chocolates from them. And
so when you have your holiday party, you can...
You know what to serve.
Apply it and those learnings. And
Exactly. And finally, at Ebel Ice Arena, they do what's called a glow ice skating. So they shut off all the lights and they turn on, black lights and glow lights and stuff like that. And people can come out and ice skate.
For sure.
And, there's music and food and stuff. So that's really exciting. There's a few of those happening in December still. So
okay. I've been to the Corners often. And it's just, I think overall, in summer, you have food trucks, you have a lot going on there all the time. So it's great to hear all the things you're sharing, what's coming up here in the next month.
Yeah, we're always doing something. There's always something going around, around the town. And we love, our tagline is actually small town, big options. And it's because we do have that small town feel, that community feel, but you still have all these different things to do and see and experience. And it kind of sets us apart from other places. So
what you just said there kind of gets into one of my last questions was, Brookfield, the town of Brookfield, just how people want to come there, right? You said they want to live there.
Right.
And what was it?
Small town, big options.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, we're really focused on the community. We want to make sure that this is a place that people are, thinking that, they want to raise their kids in, they want to spend time in. And if they don't live here, it's a place where they can say, I remember my kids had so much fun in Brookfield, in the town of Brookfield, and they can't wait to go back, and I can't wait to take them back.
Yes.
So.
No, and from a real estate perspective, as things that Jeremy and I have talked about, right? It's, the podcast, it's location, community.
Right.
The location matter because of the community.
Right.
And it's all those things. That's why Brookfield and, Elm Brook and, all this surrounding area, people want to come here. They want to live here because it has so many of these options. Right.
You're not going to, I equate it to, you're not going to visit a location if there aren't great places to eat, places to go shopping, fun things to do, events to see.
And close, right? Close proximity to everything that you can get there. People are busy. There's sports for the kids, jobs, all those things, right?
Right.
So just being able to do that in proximity that you can enjoy those.
Exactly.
And, not have to travel far to get there.
Right. Our hotels are, right off of I-94, that we're 15 minutes from Milwaukee, only an hour from Madison. It's, we have the lowest room tax rate in the area. We have free parking. It's just it's a no-brainer to stay here.
No, Anna, thank you, so much for coming on and sharing everything that's going
so much
on
for having me.
in the town of Brookfield.
I'm so excited to be here, and I'm happy to talk about the town anytime.
And we'll definitely have you back because more's, you're right. I mean,
yes.
We were talking just with some of the guys outside before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It really does.
It's going to be, and knock on wood, it goes that fast, right?
Yes, the first food truck will be here before we know it.
Right.
We have so many exciting things happening in 25, and I can't wait to tell you guys about them.
Well, we'll definitely have you back. Yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And again, tell your friends, leave us feedback. Sign up and follow us and sign up for our email list so we can share information as it becomes available. But with that, we're going to sign off for today, and thank you for joining us on Location Community. Have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Location Community. I hope today's episode gave you a deeper understanding on how the right community can enhance your living experience and enrich your life. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a message, and share it with your friends or anybody looking to make the most informed decision about where to live. And remember, it's not just about the house you buy, it's about the community you're joining. Until next time, I'm Jeremy Daring and Mike Rohr, reminding you that the best investment you can make is in a place where you feel connected, supported, and inspired. See you on the next episode.